Hello, Internet. So yeah, this week's comic book talk for the first time, and I don't know how long. I'm gonna go over all the books I read. Um, I might split this up. I might just have it be like one long video. Whatever. Here we go. So I'm starting off with Uncanny Avengers number 22. It was the most looked forward to book after reading the last issue when Kang took all the power from the Celestial. It's like, oh, dudes, what's gonna happen? So yeah, Avenge the Earth, the conclusion. Let's do it. So we start off with Arno Stark and Tony Stark, who are brothers, and then though I'm not sure if it's like Arno from an alternate timeline. I think it is because like the way all the other characters are like talking, it seems like they're not from the 616 universe time stream thing. So yeah, but yeah, they're talking, and then like Tony Stark's like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's going on? Like, how can you follow King? You're betraying us. Blah 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 blah. And then, Arnold's like, well, we kind of have to, or our future will end, or our future universes or timelines will end, and we don't really have a choice. If we don't go with him, he's going to kill us anyway, after he kills you. And so that's basically happening as like all the heroes, or I guess we should just say superpowered people that King brought with him through the time stream, that we saw him in that one issue. I don't remember which one it was, when he like went to every era and he was like collecting heroes like May Parker and Arno and like the Deathlock Abomination and the Doctor Doom for 2099 has brought him here to like fight for him in this time when he can like usurp power to rule over the timeline. And so that's going down as like the depowered heroes who've been like, everybody's got their power taken by Rogue, are fighting against Kang's team and kind of getting the crap kicked out of them. But yeah, the other hero, or the Kang's team, also mentions that essentially he's doing this to ensure that there's only one timeline remains where he is the leader of the Kang dynasty in this timeline, and he mentions that too as he's getting the the cosmic energies from the Celestial that he killed with the Jarnborn. So yeah, so we cut back to the where Kang's getting all this power, and then before he can finish, Thor reappears from last issue where we thought he might have been killed, but he's not dead. And he's like, you're not out of this yet. I still got my axe. He comes out with Jarnborn, and then attempts to attack Kang, but doesn't succeed. And then Kang basically just takes him and throws him back down to Earth. Yeah. And then while that's happening, Sunfire and Havoc see him, and then Havoc's like, what is King doing? And then Sunfire's all, I told you, Havoc, I told you, we couldn't trust him. We couldn't trust him, dude. Like, you can never trust King. Nobody wouldn't believe me. Nobody wouldn't get along. And then they're like, well, there's only one option to fight this guy. We fight fire with fire. So while this wound on the Celestial is still open, we also try to gain some of the Celestial energy that's leaking out of it. And so they do that. And they're basically, when they're talking about this, they're like, well, when we do this means that we're probably going to die, but this is kind of the only choice that we have. And so they neutralize King for a split second, and then Sunfire flies them both over to the stream of energy, and they're absorbing it. But yeah, as soon as they get over there, Kang is just like instantly on top of them. And then Havoc and Havoc and Sunfire are like absorbing the energy, but then King shows up and like just stabs Sunfire in the back, and he's like, "You guys are too late. You have no chance." Well, there's like there's some monologue narration going on from Havoc right now about King is doing this so fast. He's moving instantaneously, this energy is making him so fast and powerful, blah, blah, blah. And then, after that, like, Havoc gets this like really bad like scar on his face from the energy, or some I guess like the explosion when Sunfire explodes, because that's what happens. He basically gets like disintegrated, and then or explodes. I guess that wouldn't be happen if you got disintegrated. Anyway, there's an explosion. Havoc's face is scarred, and then yeah. So then it's just Havoc and Kang facing each other, and then Kang is like, but you can't attack me because I have your daughter. So attack me and you'll never see her again. So stand down, dude. And then we cut back to Earth, and you have Arno and Iron Man talking again. But yeah, this is when Arno's like, it's not just us that are gonna die if we fail King, but our future's gonna die, so we have to help him. And then Iron Man's like, well, that's not true. You have to help us. And then Arno's like, no, we don't, because if you were here or in our situation, you do the same thing. And then off screen, Captain America hits him with the shield to like stop him from shooting Iron Man with like a repulsor beam or something. And he's like, oh, but you're wrong. And then before like he can say anything, the other Betsy Braddock from the other timeline is attacking him. And then she's like, no, he's right. We have to serve Kang or we're going to die. So nothing is going to stop us. And Captain America's like, oh, you might want to look behind you because there's a pretty big nothing coming behind you. And it's Immortus and his Infinity Watch, which it's weird because it's really weird because like back in like, I'm trying to think which issue it was. It was like way back before all this craziness of like Kang's true plot, when like Captain America saw something in the desert it was like some message or something. It was from Immortus, but he didn't know if he could trust it. I don't remember all the specific details, but essentially like there's like some message that was in the desert, and then he found it. And then I guess this was like plan B to like, the King thing that they went with of like, okay, well, we shouldn't go back and have King help us when we go to save the day. We should use Immortus and his team, but that didn't happen. But then they show up and they start helping them with all the superhero power blah, blah, blah. King's team. I'll just call them King's team. The superheroes that are from the alternate timelines and stuff. And so you have like Nova, Captain Marvel, Silver Surfer, and by Captain Marvel I mean Marvel, not the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel. Silver Surfer, Immortus, and some other people I don't know who they are. So yeah. And they come in, start helping out the Avengers, saving the day. And they're like, oh, also when they come back, they're like, this is the only time before Kang comes into power in this dynasty timeline thingy where we can actually stop him. So, where's that, guys? And they're like, we don't know. And it cuts back to Havoc and Kang just, having their confrontation, mano-a-mano battle. And then King's like, yeah, I willed your daughter in existence, and, I arranged your marriage, and everything I've done, everything that's happened to you is because of my plots and scheming, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. And then there's some inner monologue with Havoc, and he's like, well, he might return my daughter. And he's like, wait a minute, no, that's just a dream, because everything he says is a lie, and, he'll just use it to stop me from doing anything to him, so I have to do what he think I won't do. And then he attacks him. And then, yeah. So that happens. And then, they're basically just going at it, King and Havoc. King seems to have the upper hand. And then, let's see. Okay, and then there's like this line that King like says to Havoc. He's like, in what reality could you have ever hoped to defeat me? Your problem, Alex, is that you believed that there is good in all people, believed that there was good in me. It made manipulating you so simple, but concepts such as good or evil hold no value to a being of prominence, to a being of my prominence. Let's see. You've done my will since the day you were born. You all have. I'm the one who gave you your child, and I will take her away. For I am God. And then there's a bubble, or a speech bubble, off panel, and then it says, "Would a god celebrate so prematurely?" And then there's this character that comes on screen. You don't know who it is yet, and then they say, "Would a god so grossly underestimate his opponents?" And then they attack Kang, and then they say, "I drink from the same cosmic wellspring as you, Vulture. Only my frame no longer limits how much I can contain. You face Sunfire, the Atomic Knight, unleashed, and I am no one's pawn, Kang, not yours." And it's cool. Essentially, Sunfire has like this transformation, and he's like this cosmic entity looking thing of just like energy and power. It's pretty cool. So yeah, he basically just like does that, and then he starts powering up, and then yeah, he's like, when he says like, you know, "I'm not your pawn, not yours," and he says, "Nor your children's," and like he's about to zap, "I'm in an aerial ship," and it cuts to them, and they're like, "Ah, man, King won," and they're just like, "We're about to die." Well, it's like, well, they had like their last few lines, and they're like, "Yep, King got us," or "King, we couldn't stop King." It's like King won again, and then but they're like, "Well, at least this time we'll die together." So it's like, it was interesting because, like, you know, I was expecting them when they went back, since in the before they did the time jump thing, and like you had the sister, I get their names mixed up, so I'm not sure which one's which, but yeah, the sister survived and then the brother died. But here, since they went back to like change all that stuff, neither of them died, but then they did end up dying. So yeah, or at least supposedly. We'll get to the epilogue. There's possibly they're not dead. We'll see. But yeah, and then in that the scene when you have the ship exploding, yeah, Wolverine escaping in a escape pod from the ship, and he's like, "Steve, it's Logan. The Apocalypse Twins' arc is fallen down." So yeah, he like just radios him what the situation is, and then Havoc basically just proceeds to just beat the crap out of Kang. He almost kills him, but he doesn't, because basically he's like, "Well, I have to do something that he wouldn't expect to get the drop on him, since he's all about, oh, well, I know it's going to happen before it happens," and so yeah, he just throws down on Kang, beats the crap out of him, and then he's about to like, he's like basically choking him, and he's like choking him out, and like he's about to die, and then he stops, and then he's like starts saying like, you know, "Give me my daughter," blah blah blah. And it's funny because Kang's like, "Leave it to a summer student, sure everybody loses," and he just like teleports away. But before he does it, he's like, "There will be hell to pay. You've laid your fists on Kang, and for such a thing, there's great cost." And he just teleports away. Like, so yeah. And then we cut back to the Avengers taking out the Infinity Watch taking out the Kang's team of bad, super powered people. And they all teleport back essentially at the same time as Kang teleports back. And they're just like, "Yep, whatever his plan was, he failed." But then it's weird because there's this scene, and you have Kang's disembodied holographic head talking to Ahab, and then he goes, "I am undone, forced to flee." And then Ahab goes, "Summers?" And then Kang's like, there was always a small chance, and now you have work to do, Ahab." So I'm not sure who this Ahab dude is. I have to look it up on Wikipedia, whatever. I'm not sure if he's like from the future or from the present. He's probably from the future, or I'm not sure if he's one of the Infinity Watch people or whatever. Don't know, but yeah, essentially, I guess he's like either a mole within the Infinity Watch, since he didn't teleport back, or he's in the current timeline and is a agent of Kang there. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, then it cuts back to the the giant celestial executioner dude that was about to, or thing, entity, that was about to explode the planet by stepping on it. And then you have Sentry, who's like, "Oh, he's dead. I'm just going to take his body now and, just blast off into space and take it really far away." And the Wasp is there talking to him, and then she's like, "How can you be sure he's dead?" And then she's like, or he's like, or Sentry's like, I can feel the energy; it's no longer there. And then but then he says, like, before he like takes it away, he's like, even let's see, Exeter's body, I'm gonna take it away from Earth, but even then, know this: the Celestials' wrath will be mighty. So there might be some more Celestials attacking Earth. Who knows? And then she tells Captain America, she's like, yeah, the Sentry's done. He's taking the body away. Give me a portal back. And then she gets back to where all the Avengers are assembled in the giant. Yeah. Anyway, so that happens, and then she's like, "Where's Havoc? Where's my husband? He was supposed to be here." And then Scarlet Witch is like, "Where's Rogue? Where's Rogue?" Which is funny because like nobody even cares about Rogue. It's like after she like saves the day, like the only person that like really cares about like where's Rogue is like, "Where's Scarlet Witch?" Or like I guess the other thing is like while Sentry is there, just like flying away with Executor or whatever his name is, Exalter. Like we cut to the scene where like Rogue is just like plummeting to Earth, and like nobody goes out of the way to like save her. What's up with that? And then so yeah, Rogue plummets to Earth after stopping Executor and having her produce powers. And then she's like, the voices, they won't go away. And then Scarlet Witch is all, I'm here, Rogue, be calm. And then Rogue is just freaking out, like, make it go away. And then Scarlet Witch is all, I'm chaos reversing your powers, this should. And then she does some spell, release and return the energies you borrowed. And then there's this panel where all the powers return to everybody else that had powers, because you see Iron Man in the panel, and like he doesn't get any powers back. So, like I said last time, he was in a suit, so he has no powers. He didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, actually, it shows Iron Patriot in here somewhere too. So it's like those two were there, like I said last time. Like yeah. Anyway, so yeah. And then Scarlet Witch is like, "You did it, Anna Marie. You did it." And then Rogue's like, "What? What did you say?" And then Scarlet Witch is like, I said you did it." And then Rogue's like, "No, not you. What? What? Who am I hearing?" And then she says, You can't hear him, can you?" And then Scarlet Witch goes, "Who, Rogue? Who do you hear?" And then like there's a really close up of Rogue's face with like red eyes. It's really creepy. And she goes, "Why am I the only one who can hear Simon?" So I guess she still has Wonder Man absorbed into her. Creepy. Huh? So yeah, we'll see. I guess there'll probably be ramifications for that or something. Yeah. Or some like 90s era Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel or whatever you want to say. Carol Danvers absorbing into her like weirdness going on. So that yeah, then Havoc gets back. Havoc gets back and he's like, "Janet," and then tells her about what happened. Well, he doesn't really tell her what happened to their daughter, but she asks about like, what happened to your face? Where's our daughter? And then okay, before that happens though, Captain America's like, "Shiro, are you?" And then he goes, "Alive, Captain, but no longer what I was." And like, it's just like really cool what they've done with his character design. So I'm wondering if he'll like be super awesome now, or just go back to being normal Sunfire, because this is a pretty cool design, and he's like, it seems like he's gotten like a boost or been boosted. But yeah, anyway, Havoc and Wasp, and then Wasp is all like, what happened, Katie?" And then he doesn't say anything, and then she's like, no. Okay, there's no like exclamation mark, so I guess it's just like no, but if I do it in my voice, that's weird. Anyway, so that happens, and there's just like the scene of like, the Avengers won the battle, but the war is still being fought, and they're all just like in this, chart, ruined craters everywhere, just like, scorch marks and stuff. And then it's like Epilogue, the Sahara Desert. And so we see the remains of the ship of Ariel and Diamond, and it has Daken and Grim Reaper walking away with the bodies of Ariel and Diamond. And then it's funny because like they're talking about what they were promised by Kang and how they didn't get it. And Daken's like, "Well, I was promised to be able to torture my old man for 100 years." And then Grim Reaper's like, I was promised no less, or I killed 0 people. I was promised no less than Rogue and Captain America himself. And so, it's funny too, because like before the time jump, well, I guess I'm not gonna say what happened, but yeah. So if you haven't read it, I'm not gonna say what happened. So yeah, he does actually kill someone, but yeah, he did, like this time since they went back to the past to like fix all that, not so much. Let's see. Do 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 do. Oh, okay, so yeah, and then Dakin has like the last line. He's like, "Well, chin up, Gloomy Gus. Look on the upside. We didn't get what we wanted, but the sun will come up tomorrow." And it's like the end. But it's weird because there's no preview, so that's the end of this arc. Who knows what's gonna happen next? Wonder Man has been absorbed into Rogue. The Unity team, I guess, is finally back and not splintered. Or are they? I guess we'll see. There definitely going to be some ramifications, especially like with Wasp and Havoc, because like she'll be like, "Oh, my daughter," blah blah blah, and we'll see if there's some conflict there between those two. It seems like everybody else, for the most part, will be like on the same page. Rogue will be the whole Rogue and Wonder Man thing will be weird too. So who knows if it'll be cool between Rogue and Scarlet Witch. But yeah, Wolverine still hasn't killed anybody, so maybe he'll be forgiven by Captain America and everybody else that was like, "Oh, well, we don't want killers on the team," blah blah blah. But yeah, Uncanny Avengers. I am definitely still enjoying this series. Okay, I'm looking at the time now in Audacity after recording this, and I think I'm gonna make one of these for each book this week, and just be like, you know what, F it, and then that way, if you want to learn, or not learn, but like hear what I had to say about whatever I read, just click on it, and then there you go, and it'll have the little thingy that I always have the thumbnail of whatever that book was. So yeah, Uncanny Avengers. I give it a 4 out of 5 on Comixology. It was. I don't know, dude. For me, it's like 5 is like really good. Like last issue, I gave it a 5 because it was like, wow, that's like pretty effing awesome. Like the way it like it just the climax of, oh, this is what Kang's plan was all along. Whereas this one was it was like a wrap up and kind of building to what's happening next, but not exactly knowing what's gonna happen next. So yeah, but overall it's like good, which is like what 4 is anyway. So like solid issue. I enjoyed it. So yeah. That's it for my thoughts on Uncanny Avengers number 22. Was it 22? Oh, jeez. Uncanny Avengers number whatever this is, 20 something. Wow, it logged me out. That's crazy. I was gonna see which one it was, and then it logged me out of Comixology. What the F? So whatever. 22. All right. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends, or not, that's cool too. And until you see or hear from me again, thanks for watching and listening, and I'm now signing off.